What massive pop culture phenomena from today do you think is not going to be remembered in the future? Like if 40 years from now somebody was doing nostalgia about this era the way Stranger Things does 80s nostalgia, what stuff do you think is not going to get referenced? Now the easy answer would be, well, it's going to be these YouTubers and streaming personalities. Nobody's going to remember these guys. But as somebody who is old enough to see new generations be nostalgic for my childhood, I'm telling you right now, you cannot predict this. As this person said, it's weird that in Stranger Things, they only like stuff from the 80s that we like now. You'd think one of them would be like, hey, let's go check out that new Dudley Moore flick. The last one made $94 million. In general, I think any younger person who's kind of into 80s nostalgia and likes the music and the movies from that era, if they hopped in a time machine and actually went back to that era, they would be shocked by which stuff is popular. For example, there was a common joke at the time that Larry Hagman is just everywhere and we're all tired of looking at him. Enough Larry Hagman, we said. He's on every magazine cover, he's on every talk show, and I'm guessing that if you are under a certain age, you have no idea who this is. But you would hear people making the same joke about Dick Clark. Gosh, the guy's he's always on my screen. It's not shocking to me that the kids today don't know who this is. And if you are a kid and you do know, say so in the comments. But if you were walking around in the 80s, it was unthinkable to not know who George Burns was. I mean, that's the thing. These people were not Jake Paul famous. These people were Beyonce famous. You could show this picture to anybody in 1987 or so and they would say, that's Zsa Zsa Gabor. Stand-up comedians could reference this person and everybody in the audience knew who they were talking about. If Michael Landon walked into your shopping mall, it would be a riot. But I'm not just making this video to name a bunch of 80s celebrities, Dom DeLuise, but rather to point out that it really has nothing to do with the quality of their work or the talent of the celebrity. For example, Ryan Reynolds is clearly enormously talented, but I don't feel like 40 years from now he's going to turn up in a lot of 2020s nostalgia. Mainly because a lot of the stuff he does is not intended to survive the context of this era. The Deadpool franchise is based entirely on jokes that you only get if you are immersed in this era's superhero films. But if you're a younger person, as you get older, you're going to be constantly shocked by this. In the 1980s, Tom Hanks was making the most disposable comedies you could imagine. And it was one of those things where after he won Academy Awards later, then people would look back on the earlier work and say, well, you know, you could always see the genius back there.